In today's world, the manufacturing industry is increasingly competitive. A data-centric approach, enabled by Industry 4.0 technologies, is key for operations to maximize effectiveness and minimize costs. Successful cases have achieved up to 80% throughput gain, 40% labor productivity savings, and 25% cost of quality reduction. However, digitalization projects often risk becoming too complex, costly, and hard to scale. Powered by both hardware enablers and software analytics, like a Fitbit for machines, the Edge IoT device tracks the steps, the heart rate, and the sleep patterns of production equipment. Each universal plug-and-play node can be easily installed within minutes, making agile plant-wide deployment an exciting new possibility. Together, the IoT nodes form a long-range independent mesh to stream data real-time to a single gateway, serving each site. This robust and efficient architecture provides wide area coverage, avoids costly infrastructure, and strengthens data security by eliminating large attack surface from numerous devices connecting to an IT network directly. Most importantly, the Edge IoT data is processed, aggregated, and visualized by the Ops Analytics software, which is built on best practices employed by world-class organizations across different industries, such as Toyota Motor, General Electric, and top consulting firms like McKinsey & Company. Beyond standard machine metrics, such as overall equipment effectiveness, production cycle time, utilization, process parameters, and defect rate, the powerful patented analytics engine maps out the entire system-level flow and dependencies in order to autonomously identify bottlenecks and prioritize top improvement levers for the entire plant. The platform creates a single source of truth, enabling collaborative digital performance management across the entire organization for operator, supervisors, engineers, and managers. Above all, we've built a lasting system that is future-proof. Industry-standard APIs allow integration with other softwares, such as ERP, MES, and BI visualization platforms, in order to leverage on an extended ecosystem. Be ahead of the digitalization curve.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our 7th series of our Smart Forward Forum. Today's discussion will be focusing on the adoption, benefits, and challenges of implementing IIoT, Industry Internet of Things. I hope that I got it correctly, in manufacturing. Munchies, we are glad to have been able to invite Munchies. They will be sharing with us on their smart manufacturing journey as well. So for this session, especially I believe that for the food and beverage industry, it will be highly related for you. For others, it will be similar. The concept, the rationale behind of adopting Industry 4, it will be similar, and we shall have a lot of discussion later on. Now, I am Keng Teck. I'm your host and the moderator today. And Smart Forward is actually a collaborative initiative to accelerate the journey towards the smart manufacturing. The objective of the Smart Forward is to address manufacturers' concerns and challenges to adopt Industry 4.0. All of you, the businesses, the SMEs, can get Industry 4.0 related articles, case studies, events, solutions from our web portal, which is smartforward.my. If you have not been into smartforward.my, please visit smartforward.my. It is SMART numerical 4 WRD.my. Okay, and we have also our newsletter, which we share out every 2 weeks. So if you are one of our participants in the Smart Forward Forum, we will include you into the database so that you will be receiving the Smart Forward newsletter as well. Okay. What else? Now, Smart Forward also organize webinar like what we have today, corporate visits, okay, surveys, consultation services to bridge the gap of the SMEs embarking into their smart manufacturing journey. And currently, quite a number of the Smart Forward Industry 4.0 drivers, they are participating in the MITI Industry 4.0 Industry Forward Roadshow throughout the whole nationwide. Yesterday, we just came back from Kuantan. Yeah, from Kuantan. Different industry, and there are a lot of companies interested in Industry 4.0 as well. Now, in our sixth series, which is the last week series, co-founder, a P2P crowd financing company, they have shared their financial solution to address the SME cash flow issues to kickstart the smart manufacturing project, because despite that a lot of the SMEs gotten their intervention fund, let's say 500,000, the maximum fund, but you still need to have a lot of cash flow to actually invest into your project before you are being reimbursed with the grant approved. Okay, so co-founder is there to assist and fund you with as low as a 2% of the interest rate for you to kickstart the project and benefit from the grant from MIDA. Now, for those who missed the session, okay, you can actually view the session via our Smart Forward YouTube channel. Okay, again, you just go to YouTube, you type Smart Forward, SMART, SMART, number 4, WRD, then you'll be able to reach us over there. In the Smart Forward YouTube, we also included a lot of the example of the solutions available, some of the case studies that has been done in Malaysia and overseas as well. So for you all to learn more, to know more about how should you actually start your journey, that would be your best avenue for you to learn more. Now, let's come to today's speaker. Now, we have today two very distinguished speakers. One is Mr. Edmund Ng. Edmund, he is the Operation Director in Org Industries, as well as the Data Analytics Consultant for Emerging EPC Sdn Bhd. A very young expert in the field of Internet of Things. Now, why I say young is because that when I met him that time, I thought that, okay, I'm not saying about the look, I'm not saying about the look. I'm saying about when I meet him that time, the way that he presented himself, the knowledge that he has in terms of IIoT, in terms of the manufacturing processes, and how he could actually help the SME and so forth. It sounds like he has been in the working environment for 20, 30 years. But I calculate back, then it cannot be, meaning that he was still a baby when he started his career. So it cannot be, because I believe that he's only in his early 30s. Very, very high caliber person. Later on, Edmund, you can introduce yourself more. So Edmund, say hi to everyone.
Hello. Thank you for the introduction, King Pek. Yeah.
Edmund has been in the IoT field for many years in terms of the focusing on digitalizing factories and digital transformation. I'm sure his many years of the experience in the global engineering companies and specialization in this industry will be able to offer a lot of insights and practical solutions to all. Now, then, together with us today, we also have another very high-profile speaker, which is Mr. Cheong Yen Tat. Okay, Mr. Cheong from Munchy. Okay, Munchy has already adopted Industry 4.0 for some time right now to increase their competitiveness in the global market. And Mr. Cheong, who is the factory manager, is the man behind the project. So we need to actually tap into his experience and his knowledge. He has been in the manufacturing sectors for more than 18 years, with experience in the Spring Fresh, Terang, Nusa, Nestle, Cadbury, you mentioned it. Be it in the lean management, or OHSAS, or ISO, or HACCP, 5S, everything about the manufacturing, basically, he has seen it and he has done it before. So some of us and many of us over here are into manufacturing. If you want to get some insights, want to get some advice, he's the man. Okay. Now we look forward for Mr. Cheong to share more about the Munchy smart manufacturing journey experience with us later on. So say hi, Mr. Cheong.
Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer to give me opportunity to share my experience in implementing this IIoT. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cheong. Now let's get started. Now again, before we start our session, is our ritual that all the macho guys and all the pretty girls, all the charming ladies, okay, we want to know who are we engaging with. All of us will be opening up our video, okay. No need to do makeup. A lot of ladies without makeup is even more pretty than makeup, so don't be shy. Okay, open up your video. We shall have a group photo before we start our session. Now, this for the group photo session, my colleague Penny will be coordinating it. I hand over to Penny. Penny, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yeah, so hi everyone. Thank you for attending the web forum. So please turn on your cam.
We have Mr. Saktia is here. Nikki is here. Patrick Lee, Yvonne Lin, Kit Lim. Oh, Wong Sai Hong. Thank you for coming in. While you are still working in the factory, you still don't miss the opportunity to learn. Let's give a
Very good.
Penny,
Yeah, okay, because I still see a lot of
a number of them not opening their.
yes.
Yes. Please open your there's Lian Ting, Valerie, Serene Lim, Rena, Jing Xian, all have not opened up yet. Your camera. Okay. Thank you for Jenny is here. Hi, Jenny. Okay. Penny?
Okay, so I will take a few screenshots. So later please hold your smile, yeah, because we are not confirming like we are on which page.
Do it fast. My sound.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I can see a lot of the mid-tier companies are in today. I'm very glad.
Page.
Mr. Winston Lam is also here.
Okay, done.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
Done?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Penny.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Now, let's get started. Now, Edmund will actually share some basic about the IIoT. Frankly, I'm still a little bit, I wouldn't say confused, unable to differentiate a lot of different terms in Industry 4.0. Like what we have last time is that there are ERP, there are MES, Manufacturing Execution System. Right now, you say that there's an IIoT, and some of them say robotic, then some of them say integration. For me, it's still very much similar or the same thing, but I do not know how to differentiate it. Maybe later on, Edmund, you can share some lights. Okay, how would the IIoT will be able to level up our production capabilities? Followed by Mr. Cheong sharing Munchy's stories before we have a dialogue with both of them. And for everyone over here, please do drop your questions into the chat box, and my colleagues will be able to compile it, forward to me, and I will raise it up for the discussion later. Now, without further ado, let me invite Edmund to share with us.
Sure.
Please, not too technical, share with us in terms of how this IIoT will be able to bring our factory operation to the next level and help our business to grow. Edmund, thank you very much.
Sounds good. Okay, sure. Thanks, King Tek, for that kind introduction. I didn't expect my age to be revealed at this point, but no problem. But thanks. Okay, so today we want to keep it really brief and short introduction. Yeah, I was also informed this platform is also supposed to be a sharing, educational, not too much about advertisement and so on. So we keep it that way so that you get to find value in this sharing as well. Okay, I just want to confirm that you can see my full screen. Everyone can see that, all right?
Yes.
Okay, so I go on. So before I start, I just want to give a little bit of introduction. Some of you may have seen me, or we have also talked before in some of during your visitation. I myself from Org Industry, so together with our partner Emerging. So this is just a simple page for you to understand how we provide you the total solution. Emerging basically is an industrial 4.0 solution provider. As you know, in the I 4.0, there are different layers of solution. So part of it comes from industrial IoT. It's powered by Org Industry, where our company provide the hardware and also some of the software. So there will be a lot of integration required, also some engineering in terms of the machine to be able to get the data. Yeah, these are just an overview for you to know where we come from and our roles. Okay, so as what King Tek mentioned, not too technical. Today we want to really pinpoint what is industrial IoT system about, what are the value that you can get out of it. So ERP, MES, to be very frank, it has been around for a long time. You know, some of the big multinational company has implemented it 10, 20 years ago, right? But with I 4.0, one of the key things is to be able to have data, real-time data. In the past, things are not as connected as we imagine. Yes, there's a lot of data from each machine. Some machines are connected in some way, some machine is not. And then also on the ground level, the production floor, the inventory, some of the data are on its own. So there will be people who do the manual collection. There will be people who compile the data and then update it. I'm sure there are many still doing that. No worries. It is a journey. It takes time. So what industrial IoT system could provide is to really make it simple, that it can also be deployed across different kind of machine, different age, brand, doesn't matter, because we directly get from the sensor. And in the end, when you have the real-time data, when you are able to visualize, for example, if I'm making this particular work order, what is the progress? How many pieces is produced? Is it still in production or it has went to warehouse? So these are the things that the IoT could bring. Yeah, so Internet of Things is basically making the things to be available on the internet that you can visualize it. And of course, because of this high value of data, this massive big data, we call it, it allows us to do in-depth analytics, to know which area to work on. That's why these are the few things that we cover. Later, I'll show you a little bit of the software just to give you visualize it. I won't go very details because we are also very glad to have Mr. Cheong from Munchy to share with you the real case. Rather than I tell you what are the features, you can see how they benefit from it. And also, yeah, Mr. Cheong, we have been together working with them, together with my colleague, for the past two years to really deploy this smoothly so that they can get the data in real time. Okay, let me move on to the next. All right, so a quick one, how it works. We have the solution itself, just to give you a little bit of context so that you know when we discuss later, some of your challenge that you may have already faced that you can think of can also be explained here. So the first one is our device is actually a universal device that is designed to plug and play in any different kind of machine, as long as there is sensor and it's electrically driven, not hydraulic or so on, right? So as long as there's electrical signal, our device can take 6 different sensors from each machine. And this sensor data is sent wirelessly. So you don't have to worry about setting up infrastructure, pulling cable and so on. So with the wireless data, it will be sent to actually the main gateway. We call it industrial IoT gateway. So the gateway itself will compile the data and securely upload into the cloud-based analytics platform. So from the cloud, that means you can access anywhere, anytime. In terms of security, there's a whole big topic about it. Our system is deployed in multinational to SME as well. We are being is being validated in terms of the security. We can have another session later on if let's say you want to know about it. Yeah. So in a nutshell, it's a device that can be installed in various types of machine, getting the critical sensor data, for example, how many pieces to produce, what is the temperature, what's the pressure, what is the energy consumption, and all this data is wirelessly transmitted to the platform. Okay. Go on next. So in short, we always like to use this concept. It's like a Fitbit for machine. You know, all of us nowadays, we wear watches that can give us insight about how is our sleep pattern, how is our heart rate and steps. Now we are getting a nice smartwatch for our machine so that our machine can tell us when is it running and in the very high resolution. You can imagine if you are copying or manually recording, the most frequent you could do probably every hour. You ask the clerk to go and collect all the data every hour. But right now, these data are being sent wirelessly automatically 24/7 in the resolution of every 15 seconds. In fact, it can be even faster. It's just that we refresh it every 15 seconds. So your data is only a 15-second delay, the max. Okay. So here, definitely we'll go through later. I won't go very deep details, but basically you can imagine that it can reduce your capex. Why? Because you may realize that your existing production and your existing manpower can actually churn out additional 5% or 10% of the production without investing any additional machine. Yeah, and that is a capex reduction. You can probably delay the capex. Let's say you are in plan to purchase one production line, it can be postponed to the next year. And yet you're still able to fulfill the order. And that year gave you a good profit and so on. Okay. So I'll go on next. So for those who are from the engineering side, yeah, other than the benefit, all that sounds good, but how does it really work? I just want to take that short time to address technically. Yeah, it can be very deep, but deep down is very easy. All we need is actually this device to be installed in one of your machine. In the machine, there is always electrical cabinet where all the electric components is put together. So once we put this IoT node there, we just need to receive the power, which is 24-volt DC. You can find it easily from the PLC to power up this guy. And we will receive the signal sensor. We are bypassing PLC. We don't touch PLC. For those who are for production engineering, you know that when you touch base on the PLC, they will require a modification of the program. It will require the permission of the manufacturer, and it's a painful journey and it's a costly journey as well. Easily costs you quite a significant 20, 30,000 just to modify per machine. But with this device, you do not need that. You directly get from the sensor. The sensor has never changed and never lied. It has always been analog or digital signal for the past many years. So we can take both analog and digital signal. Okay. So all the data that come in with the data mining, getting the data, timestamp, high resolution, how do we use it? It's still raw data at the end of the day. So we provide end-to-end solution from the hardware all the way to the software. So the software itself will interpret the data so that you can achieve this. You can calculate what is the loading losses, what is the availability losses, performance losses, and quality losses. And this is actually a chart given by, designed by McKinsey quite some time ago. How they do is that there must be a way to calculate how much is the loading losses. When is the production running? When is the production actually planned to be downtime? This have to be able to calculate accurately and also change over time. How long it takes to change over that particular product to another product? How long is the breakdown? And then minus stop, speed loss, reject, and rework. You can imagine, in order to get all this data, you probably need a very big team to do the data collection. And we all know that, with the manual data collection, today, if you want to have a meeting, look at the data is slightly last week or some even last month. And then the data itself is also very, I would say very inaccurate because it's human dependent. It can be, I always have a joke of my client mentioned that he's supposed to collect the temperature data for the entire day. And he noticed that when he go to audit the production floor, he realized that the form is already filled up all the way to 10 p.m. when it's only 5 p.m. now. So that is this kind of things will happen. That's why sensor itself will give you very accurate and very high resolution. Okay. So at the end, when you are able to capture these losses, then you know how to improve. You know which machine is the one that give you the most bottleneck. And that's how we unlock more capacity using the same production line. you'll be surprised that actually some of the machine that you imagine that is already at 100% utilization, when you use this to calculate, you realize that there is still capacity for probably another 30%. Yeah, because there will be a lot of losses that is not possible when you are doing manual recording. Manual recording, end of the shift, you calculated, you have produced how many pieces. That's it. But this, you know when it stopped, how long it stopped. Is there speed loss? Speed loss is very interesting. If you have this machine that can produce 80 pieces per minute, the next minute it produces only 50 pieces. That means the system can capture that there's a loss of 30 pieces. So when we can see the trend, whether the speed is always stable or not. Okay. I'll speed up a little bit. Software, quick glance. I'll just go through really quick, few seconds for each page, just to let you see that this whole solution, it is not something that we built from scratch. The moment that you engage with us, it's already there. It is flexible enough to adapt to some of your requirements, but it's proven, it's used by more than 379 companies and also have an install base of 3,000 machines. So the software is stabilized, that is not made from scratch. Okay, so this is how it looks like. You can see the individual machine. You can see the compound line level if you have a production line. You can even cluster them as one production factory. Because some of you may have few factories, you can cluster them accordingly and then look into the OEE. OEE itself is another topic where just now I mentioned. It captures availability percentage, the performance, as well as the quality. All right. So this is an example of a CNC machine. I didn't put so much about food related because I think later Mr. Cheong can share more with you. This is an example. Simple, all we need is to tap on this machine, put the device in, and we take one of the signal to know when the spindle moves. This is a CNC machining. So you can see whenever green, the machine is running, and then it stopped because it changed the parts, it continued to run, and so on. You can see there's this yellow. Yellow, that means there's a minor stop. While during the production, actually there's very frequent that the production cycle just stopped for a short moment because something wrong, and then they continue. You can imagine if every 5 minutes you have this 1 minute of minor stop, which cannot be captured manually, there's a lot of losses there, 20%. So you know how to improve. Sometimes it's not machine related, sometimes it's people related. That person just not familiar and didn't mention it and just keep on doing it. Yeah. So these are the system, how we can generate actionable insight for you. Next, we also have clients who use it for energy monitoring. Yeah, you can imagine the same device, we can take 6 sensors, right? So one of it is to use to capture the production output, counting sensor, motor movement. But you can also use one of the sensor out of the 6 to actually put on this kind of current transducer, which will then be able to show you what is the energy consumption of that period of time. To us, it's just one of the sensor. But to the customer, they can do a comparison. If using this 4 hours, I produce 100 pieces, and how much energy is consumed with that machine. Then you can do a cost analysis, you know your process deeper, and you know how to do some optimization. Okay. Of course, we have a lot of this function like a trend analysis. You can pull out Monday to Friday, just look at the data. You expect it to be the same, but apparently it's not, especially morning and night shift as well. But in the past, it's a bit hard to have this kind of discussion because there was no such high resolution data. So now with this high resolution data, companies use it for their toolbox meeting. They use it for their weekly meeting. Then they can see where is the improvement. The improvement is always very dynamic. It won't be like fix it, then it will never happen. It's every week can be different situation, different people, and different training that is required. But this is the base of the data that tell you the actual situation of the production floor. Of course, we can do Pareto analysis. You can also tag like, let's say I have this breakdown. It's actually what kind of reason. And you can imagine if your supervisor do this tagging, instead of just saying it's a breakdown, they know what is the specific general reason. You can pull out the data in a few weeks' time, and you can see how many times it happens, what is the percentage of the problem that causes the losses. And you can focus on the one that really can unlock the capacity, rather than focusing on something that seems very serious, but it only happened once in a few months. So it doesn't really cause that much of losses. Okay, this is a Pareto analysis focusing on the 20% problem that give you the 80% result. And then of course, we can do this kind of very high level of different data comparison because all the data is already collected as the basis. And then of course here, maintenance. Some of you are also very keen for maintenance. I just want to touch base a little bit that you can actually see with the data, instead of just rely based on whenever there's a breakdown, I do a fix. Whenever there is, every year I do a maintenance. Right now, you can do usage-based maintenance, just like a plane. You know, you fly for 500 hours, then you have a maintenance. Because if you use time-based, you may not be optimizing your maintenance cost the best. Yeah. So you can also do condition-based, because based on certain fluctuation of certain sensor parameter, it lets you know that it's time for a maintenance. Yeah. So here is an example. With emerging, they are also very familiar with the compressor, which is the heart of a lot of machine. They can find out what is the condition of that compressor, energy consumption, air pressure, dew temperature, things like that. Yep. So this is how it looks like with maintenance as well. You can pull down the reason. All this, you don't have to export into an external Excel where you have to replot the data. No, it's all built in there. You can just click of a button, what kind of machine, what kind of asset you want to see, the time frame, then you can have the overview of it. So you know for maintenance as well, how is the usage of that particular equipment. And this is interesting for the top management. Instead of, let's say you have 30 machine, 50 machine, or even you may not have the time to go into one by one. You can plot this heat map analysis on the 1st of July until 31st of July. List it down all the way, all the 30 machine, and with color coded of the OEE, which is the efficiency. And you can see, if let's say one of it, you are not very satisfied or you're very curious to see, all you need is just a double click and you will go to that particular machine of that time and the data. Yeah. Okay. So a few more before I end. Client case study. Yeah. Today I also pull out some of the food one, which I think Munchy will be able to share better. I just take one of these beverage bottling plant located in Johor. So they were actually planning to really invest on a new line. Bottling plant itself is really not cheap. You know, it costs about 2.5 million for the entire line. And of course, with this IoT data, they realized that even with the existing 4 lines, they can actually meet the order already, but they do not have ways to improve it. There are many silly reasons. Some of it, the operator always forget to load. There's also some fluctuation of the compressor that causes the machine to always start out of every 1 hour. There's 2 times. So these are the small little things that they improve, but without the data, they do not know which one, which time, when will it happen. So when they really all on board, the management was also very keen. They are able to avoid this capex, and they move it to the next 2 years for them to invest the new line. All right. So before I end, these are some of the reference clients. We have been doing this since 2016. Years when we first started Industry 4.0, there are not too many people are very keen. I believe this point with the government initiative from MITI, Industry Forward, it really helps. Yeah. So leverage on the grant, leverage on the radius assessment. Yeah, we can definitely support you in terms of proposal. Even, yeah, you can definitely let us know. And here is some of the example of the different factory size. Because of the wireless capability, you do not need to invest heavily on the infrastructure. It can really deploy easily. The fastest that we ever done before is for a customer that actually took only 2 weeks for 10 machines, and we get it done for them. They immediately they have a dashboard, they can see the machine data. Okay, just a little bit of, because all industry started in Singapore, this is the CEO of all industry, Samuel, and this is Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore, and this actually also started there, and they have also featured in different kind of news. Yeah, and also collaboration with McKinsey. McKinsey also brought this to overseas because as a consultant, they do not have the data to advise the customer very well sometimes, and they utilize this IoT node and the gateway to be able to get the data and advise their customer. Yeah, of course, collaboration with Dell, some of the hardware we actually get Dell to actually make for us. Yeah, and of course, as a summary, yeah, we definitely need to work together, because in the whole automation pyramid, there's MES, ERP, where we need to integrate together with them, where emerging EPC has definitely done that before in terms of modification of machine and so on. So yeah, that's a short sharing from my side. I look forward to more conversation later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edmund. So, Edmund, short and sweet, very, very good. So we can see that in terms of the Industry 4.0, there are various benefits from the wastage from the energy, the performance of the machine, from the human resource side, so that we get accurate data. I like the story of Edmund saying that when they wanted to check in terms of the temperature, but it's all filled in already in advance, because quite a number of because it's standard, because most of the temperature, everything it doesn't move a lot. It's very similar. So just to fulfill their work, okay, right now I'm a little bit having more time. I just fill in first, okay, and at the end of the day, did I actually complete my work? Yes, I completed my work. I always say that in any work that we do, there's always an output and an outcome. So they might actually completed the Excel sheet filling in and so forth. Output given to you, a report is there, but the outcome, it will be very sad that rubbish in, rubbish out. So basically, you will make wrong decision because that you have put in wrong data, and it is very, very dangerous actually. Frankly, Malaysia, I have full trust and full confidence of the Malaysian capability in terms of manufacturing. Just that there are a lot of teeny tiny things that because that we didn't adopt the technology, and we cannot refine our process, that a lot of wastage happen and a lot of trial and error is actually a cause. Now, to get into the real life situation, we have here Mr. Cheong from Munchies. Okay, Munchies, everyone know Munchies. Everyone eats Munchies. Okay, whether you are in Malaysia, when you're overseas, you take Munchies. Okay, as long as cookies is Munchies. So how can they grow so fast, expand their operation, being so successful is not only about how best have they actually done their branding marketing. I'm a branding and marketing consultant, but for me, I always acknowledge that branding and marketing is to convey the right message out. But if it's not supported with a strong operation and internal capacity and capability, you will not be able to sustain the promise to your market. So let's hear it from Mr. Cheong in terms of the Munchies Industry 4 Smart Manufacturing Journey. I hand it over to you, Mr. Cheong.
Okay, thanks. Let me share my slides. Do you all can view my slide?
Yes.
Okay. Let me start. Let me brief you all about Munchy company history. How we got started. It all started in 1991. A bunch of biscuit aficionados formulated their first successful crunch with a second-hand wafer stick machine in a small peaceful town in southern Malaysia. In 1993, they finally shared their wonderful creation to the world with the birth of Munchies. 3 years later, a new wave of fun was unleashed with the launch of new products, Music, Munchini, and Lexus. These yummy trailblazers were mixed and baked in Munchy iconic factory in Batu Pahat. New puff crunch excellence. Soon enough, the word got out about Munchy delicious creation, and it didn't stop in Malaysia. To satisfy global demands of our signature crunch, Munch World Marketing was set up in 1997 as Munchy Arm and Soul Worldwide Distributor. We then began munching into new shows with more than 50 countries, making Munchies their go-to snack. Today, our globe-trotting products speak for themselves as we munch our way to every nook and cranny of the world to delight tummies everywhere. What is our challenges ahead? I think most of the FMCG facing the similar challenges, which are raising costs, cost pressure in competitive FMCG market, labor shortage, high labor market, difficult and costly to hire labor, supply chain constraint, pressure to meet market demand volume. These are in Munchy's, we have many SKUs. This is one of our advantage and also our challenges to manage so many SKU. We have Munchy crackers, lasers, oat crunch, music, choco, Captain March, etc. In business, sure, we want to get return on capital employed. In order to achieve this, we need to get high revenues, low cost, and optimizing the capital employed. How to achieve this? We need a high number of customers and market share. And we need to control our quality, deliver on time, within a short lead time, produce in low cost, and with a low labor cost by high productivity, low overtime absenteeism, and low material cost. Use the low cost but high quality of material in product design and low scrap. In terms of optimizing the capital employed, we need to optimize our equipment utilization, have a good preventive maintenance, and low maintenance costs. So we know all the key operation drivers to achieve the return on investment, but the management pain point is how to achieve it. Before we implemented this IIoT, we have a difficulty. It's labor intensive to analyze data to control all these drivers. So, of course, you want to know what IIoT can help us to achieve the key drivers. So, the highlighted one, quality, productivity, scrap, and equipment utilization can be analyzed and improved by using the IIoT. Before implementation, we do not have a real-time visibility on production status on those key drivers as mentioned in the previous slides. We using the overall efficiency OE metrics to track our productivity, but this metrics is not visible enough because it doesn't show which type of losses causing the low productivity. Because this calculation is by dividing the actual output by planned output times 100% to calculate the overall efficiency. And this is a complicated process, long process by manual collecting the data by operator, then pass the data to cloud to enter into the, for example, Excel, then plot the graph, then only able to review by management. So OE metrics, for example, OE metrics, we produce actual production quantity 13,500 pieces divided by planned output 20,000 pieces times 100%, we get the 67.5%. Yes, we are able to know our line or machine efficiency, but with this information, how can we react? For the next step, then we need to spend a lot of time, a lot of resources to analyze the data to identify the types of losses affecting our productivity. But if we use the OEE metrics, which is shared by Edmund just now. This will show the availability percentage, performance percentage, and quality. So besides the overall performance, we can directly to zoom in to which area, which type of losses, so that we can react fast to improve. As shared by Edmund just now, the automation pyramid in Munchy, we have a Microsoft Dynamics, which is a enterprise resources planning. And this Microsoft Dynamics also have the scheduling feature. So we do not have the standalone manufacturing execution system. We just use one system cover these two. And we have a IIoT system to link up all the relevant machines to and analyze the data to give us the production performance. So as shared by Edmund just now also, so we have a real-time dashboard with simplicity and clarity, and we show it in we install the TV to show the real-time dashboard in a production floor and also office, so that we can view the real-time data and react immediately to improve. After then, we can even dive in every single machine to view the detail. For example, this packing machine, we can know if it is a red bar, we know that it's a breakdown. For orange bar, we know it's a minor stoppage. And a green bar, that means the machine is running. And we know which SKU is running by tagging this timing with the SKU. And we know the speed, machine speed, how many pieces produced in a minute. Before this, most we capture the data in hourly, but with this IIoT, the system able to track the performance by minutely. Besides the speed output per minute, we also can track the reject rework in minutes. So these are the bar, the reject and rework generated per minute. So this is the real-time shop floor physical dashboard installed in a production office. We can see the performance of the, for example, process and packing. Then we can see one glance, we can know the performance is having issue, is a bit low. So in terms of availability and quality is okay. Then we can immediately zoom into the performance. That means could be the speed loss or minor stoppage. Then we further zoom into the Pareto chart to identify which speed loss or minor stoppage is the major losses. So the highest bar, the orange highest bar are the major losses. Then we, of course, after this, then we need to do problem solving. For example, using the lean manufacturing Six Sigma DMAT methodology to analyze, to identify the real root cause, then take preventive action. Then, so what is the benefit of IIoT? It reduces the manpower required for manual production output data collection and reporting, increase accuracy of production output data, increase shop floor visibility with real-time data, increase operational efficiency and reduce waste, increase data resolution from hourly to minutely, better management of defects, and improve quality consistency of product. This is the real case scenario. You can see one glance, we can see running the same product, the machine speed decreased from the standard speed. Initially, it's running at the standard speed, but at this point of time, the machine speed reduced by operator. So once we see this scenario, then we will go to the shop floor to understand what problem facing by operator, why operator have to reduce the speed. Then we will solve the problem. For example, if the machine problem or the biscuit keep breaking in the machine, then we need to see whether need to improve the biscuit quality. And another case scenario, this is the wrapper changeover, the wrapper change downtime. You can see that the change time is not consistent. Some are in a shorter time, some are in a longer time. And so that we can track for each, we can link back to the record who are the operator doing this wrapper row changeover. Then we can find out that these two operators may have incompetent skill, so that we can arrange the training to train the operator to improve the skill. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chung. Thank you very much. Now, you see, what Mr. Chung has presented is that, you see, a lot of the issues would be similar to most of the manufacturers, labor shortage, and everyone want to have the high return on capital employed, okay, which want to increase the revenue, reduce the cost, and your capital employed, you want to reduce your maintenance costs and so forth. And a lot of this, I want to actually do this analogy, is that in the real life, let's say, for example, if you drive a car, last time when a car breaks down, you don't even know where is it breaking down, which parts and so forth. Right now with digital car, with smart car, you have a lot of digital device that you can know that, hey, my tire pressure is not enough. This door is open, it's not locked. There are a lot of things that we can monitor, and we can actually drill down to the issue and tackle it. Because if you do not know what's the issue, you do know where to start. And you continue to use your car, and then suddenly when you are in the highway, suddenly break down, okay, gone. Kena tarik balik. Okay, so that is where that we do not want this to happen in our factory, because once it happens, a lot of wastage, the labor wastage, the electricity wastage, the worst off is that we are unable to deliver our goods on time to our customer. Okay, that is the worst, because once this happen once, it can be actually, well, never mind, happen once, but it continue to happen again, and you can't able to find the root cause of it. Your customer would not stay long with you and say, hey, you have this issue once, twice, and third time. Are you going to solve it? If you're not able to solve it, I'll go to another supplier. So these are the things that we need to actually address now. Now, let's talk about it. So I invite Edmund to be participative in this. I would have some key things to ask Edmund first. Now, Edmund, just now, one simple things that I got, it seems like you see it as so simple, is that, well, I plug in terms of the sensor, then I immediately can actually get the data. Now, yesterday I was in Kuantan for the Industry Forward this roadshow. Someone asked me, hey, Mr. Yap, for Industry 4.0, I just put in a sensor, tap the data, then Industry 4.0 sudah.
I see.
So I don't know how to answer. Maybe you want to share, is it sufficient to do that? Is it as simple, or what are the other considerations that we need to actually plan as well? Edmund.
Sure. I just want to add on a little bit. Just now you gave a very good analogy regarding the car and all that. At the end of the day, I think with the data, massive data world we are in, it must be able to generate actionable insight. That means the data give you an urge to do something about it. So that's exactly what we are doing. No point getting the data, then it's just a data logger. So then again, in terms of plug and play, it can be really plug and play because of course, for our partner emerging here, has been 12 years in the engineering field, who know exactly the simple components that is needed to convert certain signal so that the device can get. Of course, to some, it may be a bit difficult. Of course, for scale like Munchy, they have their maintenance team, they can do that quite easily. But that's why we are here. For the SME, we can even provide a full deployment of solution. In terms of just now, they mentioned the data that they gather from the sensor. Yes, the sensor itself is really correct, but it's just a raw data. So the software itself also play a big role. That's why I would say that 50% of the hardware, the other 50% is that the software can do the calculation and analyze it. If I don't get this data for this period of time, I will call it a speed loss. I call it a breakdown. And then I can interpret it for the user. Just now, the nice graph that Mr. Chung has shared is already interpreted by our cloud computing platform. Yeah, that's the key thing.
Yeah, why I ask this question is because that I think last week I mentioned that as well. One of the company that I have visited, they put a sensor inside there. Is for this ice cream manufacturers. They put a sensor inside there and to monitor whether the cold room is working or not, and whether the door is it shut. So that's all it does. So if it's not shut or temperature go down, then they send an alert to them. And that's all. When I ask them whether they analyze the data, they say, no, I don't analyze the data. So I see that it's not complete over there. So that's why that I asked that question. But a lot of the companies also complain to the MITI and so forth and say that, hey, King Tae, we are in the industrial area that our internet speed, tak boleh pakai lah. Okay. Are we able to do Industry 4.0 or not? So if there's no internet speed, why bother going to think of Industry 4.0? What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, of course, internet, we don't need to be the high-speed internet, honestly, because some of our clients are in the very remote places because of the factory is not in the city, it's outskirts. It doesn't matter because we have this security feature that we allow the data to backfill. So if even you have no internet for the next 1 week, the data are being collected in the gateway. As soon as the internet is back, even if it's the total speed internet, doesn't matter. It will fill it up according to the time because the data are timestamped. Yeah, so you will not have that issue. But of course, minimal, we need at least an internet access. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, before I continue chatting with Mr. Chung and Edmund, please, for everyone, you have heard Edmund presenting what are the possibilities that the solutions can help, and you have heard from Mr. Chung their experience, what have they done and how has it improved, and enabled them to monitor what are the actions that need to be taken to improve their productivity in the factory side. Now, keep your questions coming. Please put it into the chat room. While you put it in the chat room, I continue to raise because I myself, I enjoyed it so much in every of the session. I learn. I continuously learn and learn more. Now, over here, I want to actually ask Mr. Chung this question. Now, a lot of the SMEs are very afraid that, wow, when talk about Industry 4.0, then they're going to put devices, they're going to connect this. It might affect my operation, Well, I'm producing every day. You suddenly come and catch out my operation. Until anything wrong with my machines, I cannot produce. It's high risk to me. I better not do it. So any comments or any suggestions on that, Mr. Chung?
Yeah, sure, we need to schedule a time to do the installation, but the installation time will not be long. It's quite simple. Just connect the device to the control panel. Then by having this short downtime, but the benefit is substantial. So with this system, we can save a lot of time, resources to do the data collection and analysis. So this is worth to invest and implement it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Mr. Cheong, this is a practical, very, very practical questions that I would say that it will help a lot of the manufacturers now. A lot of the factory side, the technical people, they would can see a lot of the benefits of the Industry 4.0. Okay, but in terms of the management, business we always think of the sales and marketing, internet export and so forth. And many of the SMEs, we do not know much about Industry 4. How would you get the support from the top management side for you to embark in this Industry 4 journey? Because it needs investment, and sometimes the investment might be big as well. So how do you actually convince them? And the second question would be that after you implemented it, how have the management perception on Industry 4 have changed? Okay, I'm sure that you have data to support and so forth. Wow, right now, you see, last time is like that, right now is like that. So management, do you believe or you do not believe? Do you find it useful? So how do you engage with the top management to convince them that we should embark in this journey?
Okay. I share the pain points to management. So for example, we do not have real-time data. We spend a lot of time to do the manual data collection, analysis, and do not have the accurate data. So by sharing this pain point with management, then and share with management how can this IIoT system help us to resolve these pain points. Then and with this system, we confident that we will able to improve our OEE percentage. So by this achievement, I think it's worth to get the return on investment. So by doing this, we are able to convince our management to invest on this IIoT system.
So how long has it been implemented, and what is the improvement before and after right now? Maybe you can share a little bit, if it's okay to share.
We implemented 2 years ago, and our OEE has been improved by double digit. So
wow.
Yeah, so it's from starting is about 60%. Now it's 70 over percent.
Oh, okay.
Don't mind me to add on, just to, I'm sure some of the audience here, I have presented pitch before. Now you can believe me because it comes from Mr. Cheong. I'm just joking. So, but you're absolutely right. I think just to add on a little bit, the whole justification because we were together is that it actually allowed the management to see, without investing an existing line, new line, without putting more manpower, apparently they can churn out more orders. That itself is a lot of value there. Yeah.
Okay. Of course, that if I understand that manufacturing is that due to this improvement in the OEE, the biggest skill of your company, because of the economic of scale and your production is more, the savings is actually even humongous. I would say humongous. Okay, because that you always churn out, and the production keeps going on. Now, coming back to Edmund. Edmund, the thing is that the SMEs also, when they want to implement something new, the momentum of it is one of the key issues. Is that, wow, to implement this kind of Industry 4 project, wow, maybe some of them I heard from the other partners took a year, some of them took 1.5 years, and some of them stopped halfway, not tak jadi. So actually, how fast can it be implemented? Maybe from the experience of the industry or emerging EPC.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's always this cost and time thing that has to be considered. I mean, some of you have done RA from SIRIM, from the TUV different. You see that the allocated amount to modify the machine is quite substantial. It can be 500K, 400K, depends on the number of machine. Just to let you know, our price is way lower, 50% of that. So let's just give an indication. Yeah.
Okay. Little price.
So the cost itself, why I mention is because time is also a cost. Sometimes when they deploy a solution, you say it takes 1 year to deploy. You can imagine that downtime or the stoppages or the people in and out for 1 year, it also costs you quite a lot of money. So when you put it together, it becomes too big investment to go with. Our time, because it's as long as we don't touch on the PLC, which is the heart of the machine, just the sensor itself, we can get 10 machines done in actually 2 weeks' time. If sometimes a little bit complex, maximum 3 weeks' time. It won't be more than that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, but last time I visited some companies, one of their concern is actually of the migration of data, because right now they might have a lot of the manually generated data that goes in, and after you implemented with the sensor and so forth, you need to see the trend, okay, before and after. So all this data they have it in the Excel form, then you need to put into the system for analytic purposes. The migration side might take a lot of time. So how would you do that?
Yeah, that's why the whole system is actually an end-to-end, hardware to software. So when the raw data come in, it's already plotted accordingly, and you pull out a function that you want for analytics. Really, there is no need for you to export, import, or even to take data from the past. Because the sensor data, of course, the first week, our data will be very limited because we need more data to flow in. But once it flow in, those trend analysis, all that doesn't require people to design how it looks like. It's already there that you can select in the platform.
Okay, we look forward if there is an opportunity, maybe you can actually demo it in terms of how easy can it be actually implemented. Now, coming back to Mr. Cheong, but before that, I have a good news for everyone to know. I just got the good news yesterday. I don't see the MITI have announced it officially in the website yet, but I double confirm. They said that it's confirmed already. Now, we know that from the government there is this industry forward intervention fund, and the government is actually giving you the grant, which is 70-30 of the project cost, which is 70% from the government, 30% from the company, up to the maximum of 500,000. And if your grant has been approved, the government would actually forward to you the first 30% of the grant approved. Meaning that, let's say, for example, the grant approved is 500,000. Okay, and the government would first give you the 150,000, which is 30%. Okay, for you to kickstart your project first. Now, what I got to know yesterday is that for companies or the factories in this area, which is considered the lower development area of the Malaysia, which comprises of Kedah, Perlis, Kelantan, Terengganu, Sabah, Sarawak. If your factory are in this area, the intervention fund, MIDA, would actually give you 40% instead of 30% of the grant. Meaning that for the initial, to enable you to start your project, let's say, for example, if it's 500,000, the government will give you 200,000 for you to kick off first. So it's increased from 30% to 40%, but it is only limited to the factories that are located in this area, which is Kedah, Perlis, Kelantan, Terengganu, Sabah, Sarawak. So for the companies, I do not know how many of the companies over here from this area. Maybe you can put it into the chat box. Let us know. Let us know where are you right now. If you're in this area, please put down, yes, I am in this area. Then if I got any information, then we can actually share with you more. Please put down in the chat room over here. Now, let's go to another question. I got some questions from the audience already. Over here, Jen, this come from Jen. Jen says that, will industry or emerging EPC help to do the integration with the existing ERP software? So some company, they might have already the ERP. So the last thing that they want to do is that, wow, I need to talk to company A, company B, company C. And then the last thing is that the ERP says that, no, it is not my fault. It is emerging EPC. Then emerging EPC, no, this is the ERP side. It's not my fault. So a lot of these kind of things is very common issues faced by the SMEs that, who is responsible if anything happens? So Edmund, maybe you can help on that.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Jen, for the question. Yeah, in terms of integration with ERP software is very critical. I can understand where you're coming from because the ERP do the planning when the production run and all that. Right now, you want to be able to get the machine data to complete the gap. The integration, definitely, that's why we are partner emerging. They can really support you in the integration. First, we have to know what kind of ERP you're using. So then we'll be able, our industry software, we have this API, standard API. That means it's built from day one that we intend to be integrated with other software. And in the manufacturing world, there is no one software that can do well in everything. So that's why there's already this communication between Microsoft and different things. For example, that's now, of course, so we have yet to go into that very deep integration, but eventually we'll do that. In Munchy, they're using Microsoft Dynamics, another ERP, and in industrial IoT, they're using OutSystem. We definitely will link up that bridge in due time. Yeah, so we have done before for other sort of ERP. Yeah, the support will come together for our partner. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's another question from Macy. Okay, Macy, maybe you can put in where are you from, which company are you from? That would be appreciated. Good afternoon. We are from a plastic blow molding industries. Oh, I just visited one. Would like to ask how the plug and play device capture the reject or rework process, as this part is detected via manually and or after the goods producers, not during the manufacturing process. So meaning that they capture the data only after everything has been done. Right. So right now is that how to use these plug and play devices to capture the reject rework processes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is different industry really, but that's good. All welcome. We can definitely discuss that. So process injection, yeah, we have done quite a number as well. You know, each mold when you open and close, the system knows. So how many cavity inside, how many pieces is produced is also possible. You just have to let the system know what kind of mold you're using now. And then all the process injection, almost, they are using visual inspection, human to see whether it's good or bad and then reject it. So this way we cannot put an IoT node on that person, right? So what we do is we actually have this function simple forward. They can use the dashboard in the platform and select this particular machine at this time. After that particular shift, the operator has rejected 10 pieces, let's say. And this manual input, that's the flexibility of the software. It comes from the data. It can also input by human with the certain access that we provided. So they can key in that I have rejected 10, and then it will reduce the percentage of the quality because not everything produced is deliverable. Yeah. So manual input is one of the functions they provide.
Okay,
and
I hope.
Sorry, just to add on, and
Yes.
one more is that, let's say if you eventually you have automated your visual inspection, for example, there's no more human to check the parts, it's done by system, vision or whatever, then we can tap the sensor of the system to the IoT node. Then that one is automated rejected. So output minus reject, then will be your net. But if it's manually done, then there's a manual input for you. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that is answered. So Macy, no problem. If you need more clarification, just leave down your contact. Later on, or we might be able to get Edmund to actually give you a more thorough explanation later on. Now, I'll go back to Mr. Cheong over here. Now, one of the key things that is happening over here is that a lot of companies right now, more and more companies heard about Industry 4.0 and they wanted to embark into it. I did ask this question in our past series, is that whenever that we want to embark into the journey, there are two scenarios. One is that I do not have the readiness assessment report, but I wanted to implement it. Another scenario is that I have the readiness assessment report, I wanted to implement it, but yet I do not know who to look for. Now, MITI always says that, well, you go to BIS Forward. Okay, BIS Forward, basically you can go there, you sign in, you register, you are able to get a list of the relevant service provider in the industry 4.0. If I'm not mistaken, there are more than 600 over of it. Now, they only have the description and so forth. But when so many of the service provider there, we do not know how to choose. Okay, we do not know how to choose the most relevant. Okay, for Mr. Cheong, what do you think, in your opinion, the key criteria to choose a solution or technology provider? What would be your advice to the SMEs? What would be the criteria that we use to choose someone that could help in your journey?
I will see their system, how the system provide us the accurate data, real-time data. So, and also the analysis done by software. I'm very particular on the Python analysis. So, by having this Python analysis, then save a lot of our time to easily identify the root cause, and then we can take the corrective action. Without the Python analysis, although we have the raw data, but still we need to spend a lot of time to analyze the data to based on the 80-20 principle to identify the major root cause. So when I select the service provider, I ensure the system able to provide this Python analysis chart.
Okay, then I ask you a very straightforward question. It might be good or bad for emerging EPC and industry. Okay, what's the key reason for you choosing the industry as a technology? Please, if you think that some of the things that is not so great about the industry, please mention it as well. Okay, if it's great, then you can mention it. Please be objective on this. We need to help the SMEs. I'm sorry, Edmund.
I can turn off my camera first. Go on.
Yeah. Mr. Cheong.
Okay, as I mentioned, first of all, the IIoT system provided by all industries having the Python analysis chart, so meeting my requirement, and their service is good. So when during the initial stage, they provide a lot of training. Because before this, as I mentioned, Munchy is using the OE metrics to track the production performance. Then we do not really have much knowledge on OEE metrics. So, so the old industries even provide training to teach us how to implement OEE metrics in Munchy. Then with the support of this IIoT system, then we can implement this OEE metrics more easily with less time-consuming and resources.
Okay, thank you. It's a very good point, because we always emphasize is that when we want to embark into the smart forward, or the industry forward or industry 4.0 smart manufacturing project, three things is there's a people, process, and technology. You only have the technology, you don't have the people. You have the data, you do not have the analysis, no use of it. Now, let me remind everyone again that if any of the companies right now who have done the readiness assessment, okay, the HRD Corp has an incentive which allows you to get your personnel to be trained with the allocation budget of 25,000 ringgit, 100% subsidized. You do not even need to pay first. So please, if anyone interested in that, put in your name, put in your contact. Later on, I will explain a little bit more, because today we are not talking about the Rise Forward. Maybe I would actually, Smart Forward is actually trying to arrange the HRD Corp to actually share about the Rise Forward program very, very soon. Nothing confirmed yet, but if you have any of the this training need and so forth, please put it in, because the incentive is limited to a number of companies. So do it fast. Anything that you need to know, please put in your contact. My team members or myself will be contacting you, give you some of the information on that. Okay, now there's another questions already. Well, good. Right now, warming up, more questions coming in. This is from Sheikh Muhammad. Hi, my company fabricates industrial insulation jackets. Wow, insulation jackets. Is it possible to install sensors on equipment like sewing machines to track productivity in terms of meters, stitches in a duration? Wow, this is interesting, because I know that for the furniture industry also got a lot of such needs, the stitches of the machines and so forth, sewing machine. Edmund.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, this is a very interesting question. Yeah, this is basically upgrading a conventional machine to be able to be smart, able to give you data. So you add sensor. Yeah, together with Emerging, we have done quite a few before. That of course we've never done before to sewing machine. It could be interesting, but we have done it for like a cutter, like they slice the meat, and actually this is a very simple machine. There is no sensor. So we added a simple sensor to know how many times that the operator was pulling it down. Then we can know when the machine is running, when the machine is not running, how many pieces of meat that was sliced. Yeah, so these are possible with our know-how from Emerging to add this kind of simple sensor. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
May I just add? I think
Yes.
thanks Edmund and John here. Emerging strength actually is system integrators. I mean, we have
hold on, John. This is John, right?
Yes.
John,
Yeah.
show yourself. Yeah.
I'll show you myself. Yeah, just to add on Sheikh how we say question. See, emerging strength actually is system integrators. I mean, we have been in the engineering and technologies how you say markets for the last 12 to 15 years. So it depends on what expected result that they need. So to add sensors to make the process to be automated or to calculate is not a difficult task. I won't say that it's not possible. It definitely is possible. But end result is, what do you want to achieve? And by knowing your machine and process, that's where our knowledge in the system integration can come in to help you to integrate this and then make this to be a data collectible, and you can do the analysis. And of course, from after analysis, what can do next is whether you need to do a closed loop monitoring and your system. That's why Emerging is here to support on the engineering part. Yeah, that's something that I want to add on. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, John. By the way, John is the director from the Emerging EPC. Basically, he runs the show. So that's why that right now, Edmund, you see, you got John to back up over there.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah,
now,
just a one minute achieve one quick one. I think this is relatable to Munchy. Mr. John actually has a very great idea. In the past, we were tracking the oven. The oven is a conveyor in the manufacturing with the heat. And then the conveyor keep running. And then we just know, okay, the conveyor running. But actually, many times they were running without biscuit. So it was empty. So Mr. Chong actually suggested that, hey, why don't you guys add a simple sensor there? So whenever the conveyor was running, if there is a biscuit, then it consider it as a productive time. Without biscuit, it is not really a productive time. So a simple idea that makes it accurate on the production. Yeah.
Now that brings me to the very important factors over here. A lot of the SMEs manufacturers, I need to remind or urge all the SMEs over here that a lot of companies, they will say that, well, we have already hired the SI, we have already hired the technology service solution provider. They are supposed to give us the solution. They are supposed to answer or deal with our pain points. So let them do the work. But a lot of times that the SME do not participate in the process, which it will be worst decision of all. Because no matter what, in a production site, you would know your production process best. You would know what are the priority. You would know what are the pain points. So it is always great for you to work together, closely together with your solution provider or the partner to make it a success. There's no project that you can actually be successful by just getting the solution provider going into the factory site and it will be successful. I'm sure Mr. Cheong will be agreeable to that. Mr. Cheong, any comment on that?
Yes, sure. We must have a team have the skill to do the problem solving. If without this team, even though we have a advanced IIoT system, but nobody to analyze data, is a useless data. Then impossible we improve our OEE. So I also get to know some company that have implemented the IIoT, but no resources to analyze data, then they don't see the benefit out of the IIoT system. So I advise everyone that before you implement this, you must get ready your team, have a person to, at least a person to analyze data, then before you implement it. Otherwise, consider wasted the investment.
Yeah, that's why that in the industry forward readiness assessment program, two of the key elements is that the leadership. The leadership is part of the assessment whereby that someone would need to drive the whole effort. And then secondly, then there will be the saviness of the tech saviness of the top management. And I actually commented last week. I was with all the assessors, and I said that the top management may not be the director or the CEO. The top management might be the certain team or committee that has been assigned to actually drive this effort. Then they would be the top management that you should talk to, because they know better in the tech sensitiveness. Not all the chairman, not all the CEO would know about Industry 4.0. We have to acknowledge that. Now over here, we have another question from Macy. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, we do interested to understand further on the devices, as we having few types of PLC and or H machine. This is very common, H machine, which require high hardware costs to pull the data out. So they are from the Mapo Industry Sonderbat. Well, okay, John or Edmund. So basically, please maintain your service level. Okay, smart forward. We always have to be attentive to the SME's requirement. Please contact them immediately so that we can actually address their issues. Now, you can see that Smart Forward throughout the whole 6 to 7 series. So we have the this emerging EPC with the org industry over here in terms of IoT. Then last few weeks we have the monitor ERP funding. We have the co-funder. Okay. Then who else? Okay. Then we have SHRDC, which is having this training side. Okay, we have ICA 40, which is on the lean management side. We have the TM Unify, which is on the connectivity, and they have also the solution. We have the Smart B solution. They also have the analytical tools. And Smart B, I mentioned that already, a very, very smart guy, financial and the manufacturing guy that can solve a lot of your issues on the ROI. So this is what Smart Forward has always been trying to do, which is minimizing the gap so that you can embark into the smart manufacturing journey as soon as possible, as smooth as possible. Now, not much time right now. Is 1 minute to 5 o'clock. I understand that John have something to announce, some goodies for the participants. Okay, I did mention it during our promotional side, our material. Email marketing and so forth. Maybe John, you would like to explain what are you going to offer to the SMEs, John?
Yeah, thanks, Kintek. I think on behalf of Emerging EPC and also in the experience that we are doing the roadshow together with MIPIs on the SME embarking into Industrial Forward or Industrial 4 application journey, what emerging find that is a lot of the SME might not know why they need to digitalize their system and what will be the benefit. So here in the together with Smart Forward, emergings will offer the opportunity to do a free proof of concept to show to the example the SMEs in the manufacturing how can the plug and play aux IoT system can just really easily be deployed that take you maybe about less than 1 week for 1 or 2 machines, and immediately you can see your data collecting and you can see the data trendings. That I think what emergings embarking into this industry to help the to help the Malaysia to compete into the national policies and make SMEs more competitive in the future markets. So as a system integrator and the solutions and the knowledge that we have here together with Ops industry, definitely I think a few of the participants here just write in your request and we will offer you the free consultation and proof of concept along this couple of months, because it needs time for everyone to take the turns. Yeah, I think Edmund, you might want to add what is the procedures and how we want to move towards on this one.
Yeah, just a short one. We will work together with BizSphere, with the Smart Forward team. We probably will send you a simple form later. For those who are interested, there is just a simple, at least we know where you located and things so we can plan, and also at least to know what is kind of industry, how many machines you have, then we can do a simple qualification. Because if you have at least more than 5 to 10 machines, then you will have the similar pain point like Mr. Cheong, where the data is everywhere. If you have only 1 and 2, then of course you can do manual collection quite easily. So there's definitely a certain minimum number of operation, then you will find a benefit of this. So just a simple form, we arrange, we can send to you. Yeah, for those who are interested.
Now,
feel free. Yeah.
Edmund and John, when I always represent the SMEs. I always the devil's advocate. Okay. When I hear free, I'm very worried. Okay. When I hear free, SMEs, when they hear free, we are very worried. There must be a certain catch somewhere, and certain star, something, the bintang here and there and so forth. Okay. Let's be transparent. Any catch or not?
Sure. You know, it's true that you will feel that way because it costs so much to modify a machine. As what we have been sharing, it's wireless, and then it's plug and play. Then honestly, for our investment, it's also minimal. Of course, we won't be leaving that device for you for a few months. It's going to cost us quite some. But if it's leaving it for you to drive the market, also to support the initiative, leaving it for 1 week is not an issue. And because it's easy, the effort investment is smaller. We have a limit that we can only offer up to 20 per quarter, so that we can allocate our manpower to do that. Yeah, it's a no commitment, strictly no. Even if you decided not to go ahead, no issue. It's nice to get to know also, no problem.
Okay,
so just to add on, I think the main purpose is to create more awareness of the Industrial 4. Industrial 4 is not a endpoint or journey. It's a journey how you move from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. So as the I think for the IIoT, the data mining and data analysis is definitely the starting point for your embarking into the I4. So that's the reason for emerging. We willing to work together with Ops and to develop and to create more awareness and really let the SME taste it, why this is good and why this is needed. Might not be implemented immediately, but in future, they might want to implement later. But at least they now knowing the importance of data. That is something that we want to share and develop the awareness in the industry. Yeah, hopefully I answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, let me make some comments over here. Now, in terms of a lot of companies are still skeptical, SME are still skeptical in terms of whether to go for Industry 4.0 or not, despite that they have the readiness assessment report, or some of them who do not have. Now, I will have to say that this is a very good opportunity to actually have an experience in a very elementary way of embarking into the Industry 4 journey, so that you know better whether you're going to proceed with the with John and Edmund commitment that no cash, no bonding, no binding, and so forth. That whether you are going to proceed with them, that's another story. But at least that you will be able to know what can you get out of it. I think that that is a very, very good start. So for those who are participating in this forum today, of course, that you have the first-hand advantage that you'll be the first. If you register and so forth, will be the first. So what we will do is that Edmund, they will give the Smart Forward to a form for us, for you all to fill in, whereby we will send out the form in our email for those who are participating today. Then with that, you fill it in. Then that would be the emerging EPC to deal directly with you. Now, again, I need to actually say something about the great thing about Smart Forward. You can see that for those who have joined us for so long, okay, we have always been sharing information. We have always been very objective. We don't sell solution. We offer knowledge. Right now, there are free POC. Last week, we have a subsidized interest rate of the cash flow for you to kickstart your project. We also share with you in terms of that a lot of companies doesn't know that you have 25,000 ringgit of the incentive for you to have totally free training. Okay, we also update you with latest information that a lot of companies doesn't know. Just like just now that Kedah Police, Kelantan, Terengganu, Sabah, Sarawak, I believe that no one knows that yet. Okay, you have the first-hand information. Okay, so these are the benefit that you and your fellow friends in the manufacturing can benefit from. So please do continue to participate in our programs, whether it is the web forum or next time we are going to do a physical engagement or our newsletter. Make sure that it's come from Smart Forward, you open it. Okay, you don't open it, then you might have losing a lot of the information that you should know, but you do not know. So it's very, very important for you to do that. Okay, we are trying our best. We are trying our best to sustain the initiative of Smart Forward over here. And I really hope that we have been able to bring you a lot of value. Before I do the end closing, I have to answer the questions from Dr. Ko over there. What's the name of the lean management company? Now, the company is called ICA 40. ICA 40 is one of our Smart Forward Industry 4.0 drivers. So they have the full suite that they have their own solution. They have their own lab, okay? And they also collaborate with parties like Sirim and so forth to go through the whole process of the guidance, mentoring, program, lean management to be incorporated with your technology advancement. Because they found it that with only technology, but you do not have a proper planning on how are you going to move forward with the execution of the Industry 4, some of your this the employees or your team members might be in the shock. They cannot take the sudden change. It's not suitable for me. So that kind of programs would enable you to have to streamline your processes first, okay? And then when your technology comes in, it's already a better process, and you can get data for it and improve your productivity. Because some of the processes, it might not need it anymore with the technology. So these kind of things that we need to continuously be improved and someone to guide you. And that is the benefit of that can bring forward by the ICA 40. So I hope that I answer your question over there, Dr. Ho. So the time now is already 10 minutes past 5. So I will come to the end. I already mentioned that continue to bring in some other of your friends to come into Smart Forward. When we send you the email, please share with your other friends as well. And next 2 weeks, okay, we are trying to get on the 9th of June, book your time, your calendar, block it, okay? We are trying to get the HRD Corp to share with us the Rise Forward program, okay? Rise Forward program. So please come in. And for those who are still wanting to know more about Industry Forward and also the readiness assessment program, MITI is still continuing the effort to go to different locations. Maybe Penny, you can show where are we going in the next location. Do you have that yet, Penny? Oh, next one will be in Kuching. Okay. So next one will be in Kuching, Sarawak. Basically, it will be on the 9th as well, but it is in the morning. So I'm actually torn between two lovers right now. I ought to join the roadshow, but I need to actually moderate the session also online. So I do not know where to go yet. Then after Sarawak Kuching, on the 16th of June, the team will be going to Kota Baru, Kelantan as well. On the 13th July, we will be going to Sabah, KK. And on the 27th of July, we will be going to Johor. Whereabout, we are still not so sure. And 11th of August will be to Penang. And Malacca on the 24th of August. And then lastly, we come back to Klang Valley, likely to be in this month of September. So follow us whenever we send you information, make sure that you open. And I thank you very much, Munchy's Mr. Cheung, for sharing your experience. We hope that your success will be an example for a lot of the SMEs to follow suit. We hope that a lot of the mid-tier companies will also participate, and you have all the reasons to go for Industry 4.0. There's no reason at all that you should not go over there. And Edmund, thank you very much for your short and sweet explanation, very concise. And John, thank you very much for offering the POC. Please ensure that there's no catch, okay? If the SME get your help, please do tell them the objective view that if they need other solutions, then bring in other solutions. If the solutions that you can actually offer can complete what they need, I would congratulate you and hope that you can actually help the SMEs to go through the whole journey. With that, I thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. Again, my team members have been giving me signal that King Tae, you're overtime, always overtime. But as long as the message is useful, I believe that you all are willing to listen. And with that, thank you very much. I'm King Tae from the Bizsphere Brand and Marketing Group. We specialize in the strategic branding and marketing and the SME transformation. Do contact us and do contact Smart Forward, and we will see you again on the 9th of June.